The Governor of Guam, His Excellency Mr. Eddie Basil Calvo, is present with us and wishes to make a statement this afternoon. Subject to members' consent and in accordance with the standing procedure, I suggest the committee invite the Governor of Guam to make a statement. There being no objection, it is so decided. I would kindly request the Governor to respect the time limit of no more than 10 minutes. I call now on the Governor of Guam, His Excellency Mr. Eddie Basil Calvo. You have the floor.
Chairman Carreño, leaders, distinguished delegates, dignitaries, and ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I'd like to offer a moment of silent reflection for the victims of the Las Vegas tragedy and for peace within our hearts and with our nation and within the world. May eternal rest be granted unto them. Hafide, Guahu si Eddie Basil Calvo. Today I stand here not only as the Governor of Guam, but I stand before you as a native son and the Magatlahi of an island that has long awaited the pursuit of self-determination. I'd like to share you the story of my great-grandfather, Tomas Anderson Calvo. He had a vision for Guam, one that centered on the American aspiration for self-governance, a dream that he hoped would someday become a reality of our island. And at the opening of the first Guam Congress, which was an advisory body of the naval governor, he said this: "It is high time that there be granted to the people of Guam, respectful, loyal, and devoted to the great American nation, the same rights that have been granted to the different states, territories, and possessions, and that we know whether it to be members of the American family or their servitors." My great-grandfather spoke these powerful words 100 years ago as he represented the interest of the Chamorro people. A century later, we are still fighting for those same rights, speaking the same message, with hopes of the same political future, one of self-governance. I'm not the first leader who's taken up our island's cause for self-determination, and I certainly hope that I will not be the last. And just like my great-grandfather, I recognize the virtues of the United States, and I ask that same question. We have been loyal to the American nation. When will be held as equals and given the same rights as other Americans, instead of being viewed as second-class citizens? As a governor, I'm no stranger to our relationship with the United States government. During my 6.5 years in office, I have met with numerous officials from the U.S. government and have talked with federal officials. And I've shared the burdens of Guam's experiences as a territory, like unfunded mandates such as the Earned Income Tax Credit and the compacts of free association that have left us in debt. And additionally, as an elected public servant, I cannot ignore the strain of the U.S. laws that have been put on our native rights. Since the U.S. court decided our plebiscite on political status was unconstitutional because it limited voting to native inhabitants, we have once again at a standstill in exercising our right of self-determination. And then there's the issue of land. As the U.S. government returned our native lands, the Chamorro Land Trust Program was created to give Chamorro descendants of the original inhabitants who did not have land on their own island an opportunity to lease property for $1 for 99 years. Native inhabitants owned these estates before the U.S. government took them as their own. And yet just this past week, the U.S. Department of Justice handed us a lawsuit. The U.S. federal government contends that giving back land to the rightful owners violates the U.S. Fair Housing Act. Now, this Housing Act is supposed to protect U.S. citizens from discrimination in terms of public housing. Both of these issues are brought up in the resolution on Guam adopted by the Special Committee on Decolonization. Our question is, who then protects the native inhabitants of Guam from being marginalized in their own home? Now, I understand the United States' interest and have respected its laws, but I also ask that the federal government understand the interest of our island and respect our wishes. As Magatlahin Guahan, I have a duty to my people, and that is why I've made decolonization a major initiative in our government. And 6 years ago, I reconvened the Commission on Decolonization after years of inactivity. As the chairman of Guam's Commission on Decolonization, I'd like to update you on our efforts. In history classes, the next generations of Guamanians learn about their rights as Americans, rights that are not guaranteed because we are an unincorporated territory of America. Soon, we hope to see decolonization as a part of our school's curriculum so that our students may learn about their intrinsic right of self-determination, one that has been beyond reach of our people for far too many years. Just a few months ago, I sent a letter to the United Nations Special Committee on Decolonization, inviting a mission to our island, something that hasn't happened since my father was governor in 1979. Today, we face new challenges when it comes to decolonization and our self-governance. And a visiting mission could shed new light on Guam's pursuit for self-determination, and not only for the United Nations and our island, but for the United States as well. I would like to make one thing clear. Our decolonization is not based on an enmity for America. I have love and affection for the United States, and I am proud of my heritage as an American. Our hope for self-determination is not a lack of patriotism, but rather the opposite. It's our hope to experience democracy, what its ideal is, liberty, opportunity, and equality that are the foundation of the American dream. The same ideals for which many sons and daughters of Guam have proudly fought for and have died for, and are continuing to fight as members of the United States Armed Forces. The people of Guam are Americans, yet the rights that other Americans may take for granted are not a right for us, but an impossibility. The ability even to vote for a president that sends us to war. This is an example of the injustices Guam experiences at the hands of the United States government. And I will not pretend our island has not felt such inequality in the past. For example, it was not too long ago that a son of Guam like me could not become a governor. Instead, people like my grandparents were not led, but were ruled by governors appointed by the United States Navy, who would pass arbitrary laws based on their personal likes or dislikes, such as whistling on the streets or speaking our native language Chamorro at work. But I will not let the blemishes of the past overshadow the possibilities of the future. And the words our president spoke just a short time ago in the General Assembly, I speak to here today. It does give me hope. And I quote, "If we desire to live up our citizens, if we aspire to the approval of history, then we must fulfill our sovereign duties to the people we faithfully represent." We, the people, are the three most recognized and powerful words of the U.S. Constitution, the framework on which America's greatness has been built. Those three simple words are the start of what establishes justice, rights, and equality for all citizens. Yet somehow, Guam has been forgotten when it comes to this. Whatever our course of self-determination may take us, whether it means choosing to relax the relationship with the United States, or becoming the 51st or 52nd state, or pursuing the uncharted waters of independence, at this moment we are Americans. And President Trump also said, in America, the people govern, the people rule, and the people are sovereign. But only when the people of Guam are able to reach self-determination will we truly be able to say, We, the people. For the last 71 years, Guam has been on the United Nations list of non-self-governing territories. And as we come to the end of the third international decade for the eradication of colonialism in 2020, we hope to see Guam take its next steps forward towards decolonization. I love America. Lo hugwai sa hagwahan mas. I love Guam more. And I ask your support in our island's quest for self-determination. Thank you.